Present here. My name is Diya Sakariya and I would like to welcome you all to the morning assembly. Today is Thursday, the 12th of August 2021. Today's morning assembly revolves around the theme of Indian heritage in honor of the 75th Independence Day of India on the 15th of August 2021. It is imperative to acknowledge the essence of our being that was cultivated centuries ago in the ancient and glorious eras of pre-colonized India. Because that is where the authentic heritage of ours really lies. So let's hear about the various aspects of the prideful Indian heritage. To begin with, we have Manav Doshi from IBDP 2 to enlighten us upon the age-old debate pertaining to the correlation of religion and
We've always talked about how it's religion versus science and their opposing ideologies, but what if they're two sides of the same coin? There are countless such religious practices which have scientific backing and they're being conducted since hundreds of years, even before science was that advanced. So I'll talk about some such practices which have scientific proof backing them. A yagna or a fire ritual called Athirathnam takes place every year in the Panjal village of Kerala. A team of scientists went there to observe the effects of this yagna on the environment as a whole, and they observed some shocking results. The germination process of all the seeds around that area increased tremendously. For example, a specific seed germinated 2000 times faster than at any other place. Even the air of around 1.5 kilometer circumference of the Yagna place was very pure as compared to other places, and it contained less amounts of microbe colonies as compared to the other places. And even water bodies near the Yagna contained very less amount of microbial activities and was very clean compared to the normal water. In a nutshell, all the environmental components like air, water, and soil were free from any microbial activities and were very pure. Another practice that is usually followed by Hindus is applying tilak in the region between the eyebrows. It is scientifically proven that this region has a major nerve point of our body. The tilak helps prevent the loss of energy and retains our energy. It also helps relieve stress. Jainism is another religion that is followed greatly since ages. It is maybe one of the most relatable religions to modern science. Those who deeply follow Jainism follow a practice in which they do not eat foods that are grown under the soil, such as potatoes, onion, garlic, and carrots. This is due to the fact that innumerable organisms die or are damaged when the food is pulled out from the soil. Moreover, due to the food growing under the soil, there are more microorganisms present on the food when it is consumed by the humans. Thus, to decrease the amount of hinsa or the violence that they inflict, this practice is followed by the Jains. There are, however, certain practices which completely lack scientific evidence, but it's time we stop looking at science and religion as two distinct ideologies, but rather use both of them to understand the world around us. Thank you.
Let's now welcome Keyur and Ananya from IB1 to enlighten us about the medicinal values of certain plants that were commonly used in ancient India to maintain health and cure diseases.
My name is Kadiwar.
And my name is Ananya Adhyaru.
Today we're going to talk about ancient medical practices in India and the old flora which is present, which was used in medical purposes. This is the first plant. It's called Bhanushali.
This plant is used for its dental hygiene problems.
The small fruit obtained from this plant is used as a toothpaste during the olden times.
It is also known to cure all dental problems, especially all gum-related problems. In ancient times, this plant was found and used to brush your teeth, and it is known for its strong immunity.
This is the second plant. It's called Urdushi.
This plant is known for its cough and cold remedies.
The juice obtained from the leaves of this plant are used to cleanse the body from toxins.
The paste from these leaves can also be used to cure fever, as it did in olden times when there were no doctors or nurses easily available.
The name of this plant is Glaracidia.
This plant is one of the most fast-growing plants ever known in ancient times.
This plant is used for nitrogen fixing in soils.
This plant also acts as a fertilizer for barren land. During droughts, when they're not used to be fertilizers, in earlier days, this plant would be grown and the entire land would act as a natural fertilizer for all the plants surrounding this plant.
The next plant is the papaya tree. The papaya tree's fruit is used for many medical purposes. It is said that the papaya seeds have more than 1,000 uses in medicine.
In olden days, when pandemics were new and unknown, the juice from the papaya leaves was used to cure the flu, and it was known to be one of the most effective remedies of all time.
The name of this tree is the Amla tree. It's the most common grown tree for medical purposes in Ayurveda.
One of the fun facts about the tree is that the fruit, amla, from the tree, the juice obtained from it is only vital for the first 3 hours, after which it becomes completely inefficient and almost useless.
The most use of this is in the Triphala Churna. The Triphala Churna is an ancient medicine used to solve digestive issues and cough issues. It's called a Tridosh Nashak, meaning it cures cough, Vayu, which is a digestive issue, and Pith, which means acidity.
These are only some of the plants that have been used in their medicinal values from ancient times.
Talking about festivals, one of the most commonly celebrated festivals in India, especially in Gujarat, is Navratri. We wait all year long for this 9-day festival to play Garba. But how many of us actually know the origin and the significance of Garba? I now call upon Diya from IB1 to tell us about some details of Garba that most of us don't know despite being Gujaratis.
A huge portion of Gujaratis all over the world hold the dance form Garba and the festival of Navratri dear to their hearts. But have we wondered about how it all started or how Garba is even associated with Navratri? Garba is performed during Navratri, the longest and largest dance festival in the world. Many people also fast or observe a special diet with restricted foods during these 9 days and nights. And while Garba is central to Navratri observances in Gujarat, it is not exclusively performed only during Navratri. Garba is also performed during social events such as weddings and parties. The dance form is believed to have been first held in Vadodara and then the other villages of Gujarat, where it was and continues to be performed in communal gathering spaces in the center of the village with the entire community participating. Garba is a dance that honors, worships, and celebrates fertility and the feminine form of divinity. The word Garba comes from the Sanskrit word Garb, meaning womb. Traditionally, the dance is performed by women in a circle around a clay lantern with a light inside, called a garbhdeep or boom lamp. It is said that the dance is performed to ceremoniously pray to the Mother Earth and the goddess Shakti. Hence, during the performance of this dance, a deep or earthen lamp is lit at the center stage of the dance recital. The Garbhdeep has another symbolic interpretation. The vessel itself is a symbol of the body within whom divinity in the form of the goddess or Devi resides. Garba is danced around this symbol to honor the fact that all humans have the divine energy of Devi within them.
Next up, we have Aatman. Aatman is going to be talking about the ancient foods of India. He is going to be shedding some light upon the process of the evolution in the food in India and the factors that have impacted it.
The food in ancient India. The food in ancient India basically reflects the cultural evolution of the Indian civilization from the ancient past. Early Indians ate food that was easily available from nature, like fruits, wild berries, meat, fish, etc. This was the main food of the nomadic dwellers. With the advent of civilization, people settled and started to do farming. This led to the discovery of food crops, pulses, and much more. The food in ancient India was cultivated in the fertile river valleys. Rice was their staple food and was eaten with cooked lentils and vegetables. Wheat was used for making flatbreads known as chapatis, and the food habits of nearby countries affected the food in ancient India. The cooking of chicken came to India and Thailand. Mutton came from West Asia. The food pattern did not change with the arrival of the Aryans. With complex religious rituals entering the center stage, animal sacrifices peaked and more people turned vegetarians. Milk and milk products became much usable during ancient times. Rice was eaten with curd, cows were respected and worshipped, and hence people stopped eating beef. Most people in India are vegetarians and meat was consumed very rarely. Many species were cultivated in India and were used for cooking in terms of aroma and flavor. India flourished in the cultivation of spices and many of them were later exported to foreign lands. Thank you.
Now we have Aashni Bhayani and Mahi Gilani from IBDP1 coming to demonstrate the art of the generation-old classical music and the core composition that cultivates its cultural essence.
All of us are passionate about music and love listening to songs. But there are very few people who understand the basic concepts that were used to create their favorite songs. The core of most of the Indian songs is Indian classical music. The music of India is more like a tradition that has been passed and followed religiously through generations since the ancient times.
The origin of Indian classical music dates back to the Vedic era, wherein The four Vedas, Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharvaved had been created. The Samved is specifically dedicated to music. This is where the 7 notes were originating: Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Tha, and Ni, that are the basis of Indian classical music.
A few years later, these 7 notes got upgraded to 12 notes, with the different variations of the notes Re, Ga, Ma, Tha, and Mi, wherein Re, Ga, Tha, and Mi can be komal or flat, and Ma can be tivra or shah.
These 12 notes create the base of any rag. A rag is a combination of 5 to 7 notes from these 12 notes, which can create innumerous melodies while adhering to the set of rules of that specific rag. An example of a Hindustani classical rag is Rag Yaman. This rag consists of 7 notes: Sa, Re, Ga, Tivra or sharp Ma, Pa, Tha, and Ni. The Aroha or the ascending pattern of this rag is
Ni, Re, Ga, Ma, Tha, Ni, Sa.
and the Avroha or the descending pattern of notes in this rag is
Sa, Ni, Tha, Pa, Ma, Ga, Re, Sa.
a way of presenting any rag is by presenting its bandish.
A bandish is like a song composed in a specific rag that has 2 parts, the sthai and the antara. The bandish can be performed in many different genres, such as a drupad, which is a bandish set in chautal, a cycle of 12 beats. This genre gained popularity in the 1500s when Tansen, the legendary maestro of Hindustani music, performed it in the court of Maharaja Man Singh Tomar of Gwalior.
Another form of a bandish is a dhamar. A dhamar is usually dedicated to Lord Krishna and the festival of Holi. It is set in a tal, which is also called dhamar, and is of 14 beats.
Another one is khayal. It is a bandish that's expressing a specific emotion. Here is an example of a khayal in the Rag Yaman.
Diya bina sakhi kalan parat mohe kari pal chin diya bina jab se piya par dis gavan kino pratiya katat mohe tare
When we think about India, the first thing that comes to our head is rituals and the cultural practices. However, a lot of us do not know the scientific reasons behind all these rituals. Now, we have Meet Chauhan, who's going to be talking about the scientific reasons behind some of these rituals.
The Indian culture has several aspects that we follow, and rituals are a common part of everyone's households. People usually don't understand the meaning behind these rituals and often call them superstitious. However, today I'm going to explain the scientific explanations behind several rituals that we follow. I will be looking at 3 main rituals. The first one is keeping and worshipping a tulsi plant. Tulsi has a lot of health benefits and is a natural antibiotic. It also has several vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin C, which are important for our body. It also keeps insects away and acts as a natural repellent, which is very beneficial for our house and keeps the pests away and our house clean and mosquito free. The second ritual that we often follow is fasting. Fasting is usually done during the time of Navratri, which takes place 2 times in a year. The first one is during the summer and the second one is during winter. It often takes place when a seasonal change is going on and the climate is changing, and this also causes the temperature in the surrounding to change. Because of these changes, our body starts adapting and this often causes our immunity to reduce a little bit, which makes us susceptible to several viruses and also to several infections. What fasting does is it helps our body to go into detox and helps maintain our immune system so that we can fight these infections better when our immunity is going down naturally because of the changes in the environment. The third and final ritual that we follow is applying mehndi during several occasions. Mehndi is often applied on our hands, on the fingertips and the palm, which has several nerve endings. And what mehndi does is it gives a cooling effect to our nerve endings, which often calms people down. That's why it's usually applied on feet and hands, where the nerve endings cool down and often reduce stress for the people who apply the mehndi. Thank you very much.
I now invite Vanshika Shah from IG2 to talk about some festivals that originated in India and have now unfortunately lost their significance.
When we talk about ancient festivals, the colors of happiness flashes back in our mind. Before the rule of Britishers, there were many ancient festivals that we used to celebrate, ranging from the most known and ancient festival Diwali, followed by Onam, Holi, Raksha Bandhan, Guru Purnima, and many more similar festivals that we used to celebrate since years. But there were many festivals which were least known to all of us. First being Losar, a famous Tibetan festival mainly celebrated by the Tibetans and the followers of Buddhism to show gratitude to God for harvest. Losar is celebrated when the lunar pattern according to Tibetan calendar begins. This festival is mainly celebrated in the regions of Himachal Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh and is celebrated from 12th Feb to 14th Feb. Losar was one of the most important festivals before Britishers, but lost its significance gradually. Another most common festival celebrated in ancient time was Hornbill Festival, a festival celebrated in Nagaland. This festival is celebrated to show respect to their culture. Hornbill, in other words, is also known as Festivals of Festivals, as there are many various types of activities which takes place, ranging from horse riding, painting and dancing, which last throughout the week. Hornbill Festival is mainly celebrated in the month of December, starting from 5th December. Apart from this, Camel Festival, which is celebrated in parts of Rajasthan, is truly a sight to behold. Ranging from some ancient traditional style celebrations in India, Camel Festival has its unique beauty, where camel traders get together to do business. It initially was celebrated on August 11, 1488.
After all these performances, now we know what the Indian culture consists of. But do we know how all of this started? What is the origin of the Indian culture and heritage? We now have Manav Bhanushali, who's going to be talking about the origin of the Indian culture.
My name is Manav Bhanushali, and today I'll be talking about the origin of Indic civilization. The article which I'm going to talk about is about world's first set of poems, which are the Vedas. India is a civilization that owes its origin to poetry. The Vedas, which are a large body of knowledge texts in 4 parts, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and the Atharva Veda, are the oldest known verse compositions. Composed in Sanskrit, the Vedas are considered to be aparusaya, which means authorless, impersonal, superhuman, not of men. Vedas are also called Smriti, meaning what is remembered. Since thousands of years, thousands of rishis chanted mantra and stockpiled the powerful positive energies in the atmosphere around. These were handed down from one generation to another through memorization by word of mouth. The same is remembered, chanted, and the cycle continued until they were compiled. For hundreds and thousands of years before they were compiled, they were Smriti. This is the reason why when one listens to Sanskrit chants from the Vedas and other scriptures, the positive energy is added and the aura around further energized. Energy vibrations are robotically created all around. These vibrations replace negative energy with positive ones. The chanter or the listener benefits immensely. Major J.D. Bakshi, while delivering speech at IHC Delhi on the occasion of Rabindranath Tagore Literary Award Ceremony 2018, said about the Vedas. The Indic civilization owes its origin to the world's first set of poems, the Vedas. The Vedas are the most pristine, the most beautiful, and the most mystical poetry that has ever been composed in all
Point to
ages.
Socho for the day is that since we've come into the 21st century, everyone in our country is trying to be like the Western world, but in the process, we've forgotten about the Indian heritage. This assembly shows various performances based on Indian heritage and reminds us that we should still be intact with our own heritage. Assembly Saudhan.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Vishna.